Listen to this. Anton Daniels is caught up in a lawsuit right now. But hold up, it's not directly on him. It actually involves his wife and daughter. And from what I'm seeing, the main target here is Corey Holcomb. Now, Corey Holcomb fired back, and you won't believe this, with something wild. It's a video, and yeah, it's meant to be funny. Girl, it's basically a cartoon-style song, and I'm not even gonna lie, if I didn't know who it was about, I might have laughed. Okay, it's still kinda dusty, but I can't deny it lands a little. Now, with that said, let me shift gears real quick and give a shout out to Judge Joe Brown and The Real Dana. The Real Dana runs her own platform, and then Judge Joe Brown weighed in on the situation. Now, keep in mind, this man is a trained attorney with a UCLA background and a former TV judge, so yeah, he knows the law way better than me. And what he said, yeah, it definitely caught my attention.
Does she have a case?
I don't know. I'd say on the New York Times v. Sullivan, no. And the other thing is it becomes symbolic, symbolism, and, it's one of those cases where, okay, the plaintiff wins and gets $1 damages.
Is it worth it?
Well, let's put it this way. And it ties up the courts. We don't want to fund an adequate court system. And we are anxious to select judges who are too inexperienced to really be holding their positions.
Hold up, he's actually highlighting something that, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even catch at first. Listen to this. He straight up says he doesn't really see this as a strong or viable case. And then he goes in a bit calling Anton out, saying this whole situation might not even be worth pursuing and honestly reflects a waste of resources overall. But wait, you gotta hear this next part.
The California is so flat broke that they cannot afford to pay but 3 days worth of court operations a week. So the judges donated a good chunk of their salaries back so the courts can stay open 4 days a week in civil court. And the state can only afford 3 days a week. So you've got everything overloaded, and the cases that really need to be heard don't get heard. And in Los Angeles, they've got 13 judicial districts in Los Angeles. One of them is the Central District, which has gone to hell. And that's partly because they have a belief there that most of the heavyweight civil cases involving contracts and businesses are brought in the Central District. So you have to have special juries and jury pools for that district that you don't have for the rest.
Now listen, he brings up the state of California, and hold up. Despite that southern tone Judge Joe Brown has, I'm pretty sure he actually has roots in California. I'm not entirely sure where he originally came from, but I do know he's based in Memphis now. And you already know accents can shift depending on where you live. But here's the part that made me pause. He claims California is so broke that at one point it could only run its courts 3 days a week. And because of that, the civil courts had to open up on a 4th day just to keep things moving. On top of that, judges were reportedly giving back a chunk of their own salaries just to help keep the system afloat. That tells you everything. You won't believe how overloaded and underfunded things have gotten, where serious cases are constantly pushed back. The cases that actually matter, yeah, they're getting buried under less critical disputes. I had to double check this myself, and sure enough, the California court system took massive hits after the 2008 recession and hasn't fully recovered. We're talking over $1 billion in cuts to the judicial branch alone. And this right here is why Corey Holcomb might actually have the upper hand. Many counties, including Los Angeles, had to let go of major portions of their staff, clerks, court reporters, and even legal researchers. Then you had furloughs and reduced work hours stacked on top of each other. Now, even though most courts moved away from that extreme 3-day schedule, many still run on limited hours of furlough days just to cut costs. So nah, he's not just talking reckless here. This situation is grounded in reality. Which brings us back to Anton Daniels. Yeah, let's talk about him. Mr. I got the bag, Mr. Money ain't an issue, Mr. You don't want smoke, all that. Here's where it gets interesting when you look at how professionals, especially lawyers, move. A lot of them, let's be real, are struggling. Not all, but enough to where they're constantly chasing the next check. So what's the easiest play in that situation? You lock in with someone like Anton Daniels, because if you really think about how Anton runs his YouTube content, he's basically a walking ATM. And no disrespect, it's actually smart. The system he's built is efficient for generating high income. He reacts, uploads, repeats, and that consistency stacks money fast. Do that every single day, and yeah, you can rack up serious cash without overcomplicating the content. We're talking hundreds of videos a month, which can easily translate into hundreds of thousands of dollars. So yeah, he's in a position to spend big. But here's the catch. This is where things get tricky. The lawyer already knows the case probably isn't going anywhere. They know it's not likely to lead to anything major. And meanwhile, the longer it drags out, the more it keeps stretching. By the time this whole thing plays out, listen to this, it's not even gonna matter anymore. He's basically already come out on top. And you know how this goes, right? These lawyers will happily take your money while dragging the case out longer and longer and longer. You keep paying, and still, nothing actually moves forward. Hold up, I never even looked at it from this angle before. So honestly, this might actually be great news for Corey Holcomb. The system may not have the capacity to hear the case properly. The resources just aren't there like that. He even said if we're really talking about potential payouts, it could end up being as little as $1 if you're stuck in court endlessly. If you've got to keep showing up again and again, it just drains everything. Now, yeah, this situation could have looked very different in another state, maybe somewhere like Texas or even New York. Well, actually, New York has its own issues. Florida, places that tend to run things a bit tighter. But let's be real for a second. Is Anton always speaking against the left and the right? Yet now you're putting your faith into a civil court system in a state that's clearly struggling. Now don't get it twisted, criminal courts in California, they still lock people up every day. They're not playing when it comes to that. But civil court? Girl, that's a whole different story. So what it looks like is you went after Corey Holcomb trying to level up financially. Then they turned around and filed a lawsuit. Now you're stuck dealing with an attorney who might just be stretching things out for a paycheck, all while knowing you're probably never seeing a real settlement from this guy. That's money down the drain. Damn, it just looks wild when you break it down. And yeah, in my opinion, what Corey Holcomb did wasn't right either. But at the same time, this situation should be a wake-up call. Cut the nonsense. Because I've seen this play out before. There was this one guy, listen, he didn't like some of the content I was putting out. So what did he do? Tried to hit me with a copyright strike. And let's be honest, that's not even rare with some of these people online. They get mad over reaction videos and start moving weirdly. But here's the part they don't think through. You actually have to take it to federal court to make that stick. That's around $30,000 just to keep a video offline. And he kept trying it anyway. All that effort just to go nowhere. If you're taking someone to court, you'd better have a real outcome in sight. Don't jump into legal battles with no destination, especially when you played a role in starting the situation. Because let's not forget, I already said this, Anton was making his rounds after this situation. Meanwhile, Corey Holcomb wasn't even responding. He was out on tour doing shows and focusing on comedy. Anton, on the other hand, was popping up everywhere. Angry Man's Platform, Whitlock Space, No Fugazi podcast, talking heavy. Then boom, once he gets hit back, now it's lawsuit time. And now, you're about to burn through your own money in a system that can't even serve you properly. That's the almost unbelievable part. I mean, if you really sit and think about it, it's kind of crazy. Shout out to House of Hypocrites too. He probably broke this down even deeper than I did, so go check him out. But overall, yeah, this is bad news.